I'm your host, Rob, and this video, we're going to continue the March to the King here on ETN. They might have broken up the channels, but they're not breaking up the series. This one, we're talking about Godzilla's Revenge. Okay, guys, welcome back. So, before I get started, for those of you who are new to the channel, this is a series that I started back on ET. Probably, God, it's got to be almost 2 months now that I started this series. But I decided to do a series leading up to the new Godzilla movie next May, where every week, once a week, I would review old Godzilla movie from beginning all the way up to the current ones. What I did was, instead of starting with Gojira and then following up with Godzilla Raids again, I actually started with Godzilla versus King Kong. That video was on ET. Unfortunately, any review I did on these movies before this one are pretty much gone now. I mean, I still have them in my hard drive, but I cannot upload them. They're semi-linked to my old channel, and it would probably not be a good idea for me to re-upload them. Very unfortunate, too. They were all doing well. Last I left off, Godzilla vs. King Kong was closing in on 5,000 views, and pretty much every other video after that was 1,000 plus. I think I had one more that was maybe into the 2s or the 3s. But anyway, we're going to continue the series anyway, because after this one, it starts to really get good. Now, Godzilla's Revenge, probably one of the most hated Godzilla movies from the older series. And I got to say, I hate Godzilla vs. Sea Monster the most. Now that I've been looking back at some of these movies and watching them again, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, I feel, is clearly the #1 crappiest Godzilla movie ever made. Now, Godzilla Revenge, it's not that this makes this a good movie, but Godzilla's Revenge was aimed at children, period. This was not a movie to please the masses. This was not a movie to please the hardcore Godzilla fan who likes to watch him do other things other than basically play a back role, because that's what he pretty much was in this movie. It was really about the son of Godzilla, Minya, or Manila, whatever you want to call him, and the little boy. And the little boy's being bullied, and he uses Monster Island and Minya as a way to help him develop some sort of bravery. He fantasizes a lot about going to Monster Island and spending time with baby Godzilla and learning from each other and basically using each other as leverage to build confidence and to build bravery to fight their own battles and protect themselves. And in its core, in and of itself, that's not a bad thing. And I think that's where you will find the charm of Godzilla's Revenge. Is it the best Godzilla movie? No. Is it even about Godzilla remotely? I personally don't think so. I think it's about sending a message to children that in life you're going to deal with bullies. Some of them will beat you up. Some of them will take your lunch money. Some of them will pick on you and call you names. But it's important to develop the bravery to, stand up for yourself. Otherwise, people are going to walk all over you. And that's not a bad message to send. I think for that purpose, this movie is fantastic. I think for the purpose of, if you're like me, like my son is 9 months old, so he's not going to be, he watches the Godzilla movie, he looks up at it and then he looks away and plays with his toys. But when he's 5 and 6 and he's starting school, and if I feel that he's got a bully, I would show him this movie. I would show him, how this little boy in this movie dealt with it. He found a way to look inside himself and find something that he could latch onto to help him get through the rough time. And I think, and I know people are probably like, wow, you're really getting deep on this. But you know what? I think everything that sends a message, as corny as it is on the outset, because the movie is corny, there's always a message deep down. There's some movies or shows or whatever that don't have a message at all. But there are some that are trying to send a message. And if you can peel away the corniness, the dorkiness, the lack of what we're used to seeing in a Godzilla movie, you can find that message. And while that message doesn't have much meaning to me and may not have not much meaning to you, it has meaning to somebody that's young. And I think that's important. I think it's important to convey that message to a child, because if you at that young age do not stand up for yourself, that's how you're going to develop throughout your life. And throughout your life, people will pick on you. Bullies don't end after school. They continue. I mean, the internet primarily is the worst place for bullies. I mean, I don't. Some of you guys are my old subscribers. You've seen that I've had troll comments with people, talking about my weight and this and that. That's a form of bullying. Now, I don't give a shit because, quite frankly, if they were to say that to my face, there's a whole different ball of wax. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't end when you leave school. Bullying continues for the rest of your life if you allow it. And you don't have to pick up a bat and crush someone over the head to make them stop. Sometimes just stepping up to their face and saying, you got a problem with me, or you got a problem with me and my weight, or you got a problem with me being gay, or you got a problem with, whatever it is, because people get bullied for weight. Like, myself, when I was a young kid, I got bullied for weight. That's why I got into a lot of fights, because I stood up for myself. If somebody said something stupid, I didn't think twice about walking up to them and cracking their teeth open, or cracking their mouth open and knocking out their teeth. And there's some people who are homosexual, and they get bullied for being homosexual, when realistically, that's their choice. There's nothing wrong with being a homosexual. My sister is a lesbian. You know what I mean? My wife has friends that are gay. So, I mean, that's their choice. But no matter what a person's choice is, people are going to get bullied for multiple different reasons. There's some women out there. We as guys are horrible. We love our women that have big breasts and a nice booty. But there are women who get bullied for looking the way they look, even if they look good. There's so many different forms of bullying out there. And the best way to stop a bully is to get into their face and call them out. Because some people say, oh, just ignore them. Yeah, you can ignore them, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop. I tried that ignoring game when I was a kid. It doesn't work. You have to get in their face and say, do you have a problem with me? And you know what? Even if it starts something physical and that's not what you want, I remember more than half the fights I got into as a kid, the person I fought with weeks later, they ended up becoming friends. Because when you stand up for yourself, people respect you more. So anyway, I know I kind of went off track there, but because this is a Godzilla review and I'm talking about bullying and kids and girls and all this, and the point is, that's what this movie was about. It was about bullying. Gabara was a bully to Minya, and then there was a real life Gabara that was a bully to the little boy. The little boy within his fantasy, like I said, used Minya as leverage to gain his confidence and to stand up. Minya stood up to Gabara. They both won their respective battles, and it was a happy ending. And you know what? As a Godzilla movie that you're looking forward to him fighting, and this, you're not going to get that here. This is not what it's about. It is a very corny movie. Gabara looks like shit. He actually looks like shit. I don't mean to say that. He looks like a turd. Like, he looks like somebody bigger than Godzilla and him took a shit and Gabara came out. And, like, that noise he's making is just like the shit moving and just, you know what I mean? And it's just, he looks like a big turd. Sorry, he doesn't have a chin. He's like kind of like this. He just looks like a constipated turd. One of those long ones that just kind of come out and they're sitting there. All right, I'm going too crazy here. Anyway, Godzilla's Revenge. Overall, not the worst Godzilla movie in the world. It is corny. It is dorky. The Godzilla's costume, when he does show up, doesn't look great. The little boy is very annoying, especially if you watch the movie in English. That voice is annoying. But it sends a very heartfelt message. A lot of people, especially a lot of my subscribers, I remember this, actually have a very, very strong connection with Godzilla's Revenge. I remember that when I made my video, Why You Like Godzilla and What He Means to You. A lot of people mention Godzilla's Revenge. I remember the comments. I read them. I remember them. I may not always comment, but I'm watching. So in that, what I would recommend this movie is if you're someone who has a son and they're being bullied and you're a Godzilla fan and your son likes Godzilla, and if he hasn't seen this one, show it to him. I think it would have a positive effect. And that's it. That's all I got to say. So, let's pull up next week's Godzilla. We're going to see what we got going on for next week. That's going to wrap it up for Godzilla's Revenge. Again, like I said, it's a great, great tale for that purpose, bullying and things of that nature. But I think as a Godzilla movie in and of itself, if you're looking for him to be fighting and getting his smash on, yeah, this ain't the one to do that with. So next week's continuation of the March of the King, we are going to be doing Godzilla versus Hedorah. That's actually one of my favorites, and actually G Fan Universe, aka Damian Bravo, did a very nice interview piece with the director and creator of that movie. If you haven't seen it, go to G Universe website. He's actually got two very good interviews there. He's got a one with a cast member from the Godzilla 2014 movie, and he's also got the interview with this director who said he would like to do a sequel to Godzilla vs. Ghidorah. So that's what we're going to review next week, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, aka Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. Until then, keep your eyes peeled for the Godzilla March of the King marathon. And I'm very excited because the further we get in the marathon, the closer we get to the film, and that's what has me psyched up. So anyway, guys, take it easy. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please comment below, share your thoughts, share your suggestions, and I'll see you next video. Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob, and this video, we're going to continue the March to the King here on ETN. They might have broken up the channels, but they're not breaking up the series. This one, we're talking about Godzilla's Revenge. Okay, guys, welcome back. So, before I get started, for those of you who are new to the channel, this is a series that I started back on ET. Probably, God, it's got to be almost 2 months now that I started this series. But I decided to do a series leading up to the new Godzilla movie next May, where every week, once a week, I would review old Godzilla movie from beginning all the way up to the current ones. What I did was, instead of starting with Gojira and then following up with Godzilla Raids Again, I actually started with Godzilla vs. King Kong. That video was on ET. Unfortunately, any review I did on these movies before this one are pretty much gone now. I mean, I still have them in my hard drive, but I cannot upload them. They're semi-linked to my old channel, and it would probably not be a good idea for me to re-upload them. Very unfortunate, too. They were all doing well. Last I left off, Godzilla vs. King Kong was